Welcome back to another episode. I know it's been a hot minute. It's been a little bit more difficult for me lately to be on pace. My life is weird right now, very weird. So I've just been kind of having to deal with that. And so the podcast has been a little bit more inconsistent than it was before. We will be getting back on track. So welcome back. Have some exciting news is since the last time I chatted with everybody, I and this podcast won an award. I am officially an award-winning podcaster, and that is thanks to every single one of you guys and the people that voted for me. So I won Best Film and TV Podcast at the second annual Fan Flick Award. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone who voted for me. I really appreciate it. They sent me this cute little statue. I'm in love with it. I need to make an office one day and stop recording in my walk-in closet so that I can put this on a little shelf because I'm starting to collect some memorabilia here for the show. I also have my press pass, so that's fun. Loving that. But yeah, so slowly collecting some shit. That was awesome to win. Thanks again, everybody who listens. If you are enjoying the show, please like, rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends, all the things, because it really does help. Because again, I am trying to make this my job because I really like this and it's fun. So this week we are reviewing Almost Famous. So this is one of my favorite films, particularly when I was a teenager. I watched this all the time. I'm outside of movies and stuff, like music is probably like the second love of my life. Like for longtime listeners of the podcast, you know that like I'm like the biggest Green Day fan in the world. I love punk music. I mean, this is specifically about 70s rock music, but there's just a feeling with music and concerts that just kind of like weaves its way through your blood, through your system, I think, when you love music, and this film kind of captures that essence to it. It's a lot like the way that I feel like The Fabelmans, which I did in the summer, captures the feeling of being a cinephile. Like this captures about what it's like to love music and have that be part of like your DNA. So this film is semi-autobiographical film, just like The Fabelmans is, from the director Cameron Crowe and his experiences of writing for Rolling Stone magazine as a teenager. Now, some of the names have obviously changed. Stillwater, which is the band that he follows, is a composite band for different ones that he had followed, obviously for like legality reasons, I imagine. But it one of my favorite movies. It is so great. And this film has like an incredible, incredible cast. To start out with, we have Billy Crudup as Russell Hammond. This character was initially supposed to be played by Brad Pitt, but as it got further along in the production process, they realized that he kind of wasn't the right fit and they moved away from him. So there is a lot of references to the character being like super overly good looking. And I mean, to me, like when they talk about it, they're like, oh, that's obviously written for Brad Pitt. Billy Crudup, so hot in this movie, and like by far, no offense to the other guys, way hotter than the other band members. So I feel like it works just fine. He's like kind of a standout above the rest. Yeah, I mean it works. I mean Brad Pitt's awfully pretty, but so is Billy Crudup in this. And then we have Kate Hudson as Penny Lane. Sarah Polley was the original cast of this, but when Brad Pitt dropped out, she also dropped out. They also thought about Natalie Portman for this as well. We have Frances McDormand, who plays William's mom, Elaine Miller. Meryl Streep was also considered for this role. She would have been fantastic, but I like Frances McDormand. I think she's really good in this. And we have Jason Lee as Jeff Beebe. We have Patrick Fugit as William Miller and Michael Anguerno as the young version of William. And I'm just going to read the name of the actors. There's so many different between band members, people on tour, Band-Aids. There's so many people. So I'm just going to read off some of the people that are in this film. We've got Anna Paquin. We've got Philip Seymour Hoffman, Zoe Deschanel, Jimmy Fallon, Bijou Phillips, Jay Baruchel, Rainn Wilson, Eric Stonestreet, Mark Maron. Lock the gates! That's what this is from. And Peter Frampton, just to name a few. So this film is a classic example, much like True Romance, which we covered before, of a film that bombed and then found success, but was always sort of liked by critics. Premiered at TIFF in September of 2000, and its box office numbers were abysmal. It made $47.4 million worldwide on a $60 million budget. So an absolute failure. However, it holds a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. Roger Ebert gave it 4 out of 4 stars, and its letterbox rating is 4.1. My personal rating is a 4.5. I love this movie. It is so good. I'm not sure what holds it back for me from a 5, but 4.5. There's just something that gives it a 4.5. This film, of course, because of the critical reception, then had some success at along the awards. It was nominated for Academy Awards, BAFTAs, and Golden Globes, as well as a Grammy for the soundtrack, which it won. But for Academy Awards, because we know we like to focus on that specifically, Kate Hudson was nominated, and she was nominated against Judi Dench for Chocolat, Frances McDormand, same film, Julia Waters and Billy Elliot, and then ended up losing to Marcia Gay Harden for Pollock. I guess so. I think in terms of like staying power within film, obviously Almost Famous has like the bigger impact. I like Kate Hudson a lot in this movie. I like her a lot as an actress in general. I think she was really sidelined into this like romantic comedy actress, much like Jennifer Aniston or Jennifer Lopez, who I also think are both really good actresses that just kind of got shoved to the side in romantic comedies in the 2000s. But this proves she's very capable. She's very good. She's very natural. And she does have her mom's like Goldie Hawn, like just stunning quality X factor that you can't quantify, but you just love to see. This film did win for Best Original Screenplay that year, and it beat Billy Elliot, Aaron Brockovich, Gladiator, and You Can Count on Me. I think it deserves it. This film, it's magic. And it lost Best Film Editing. It was nominated against A Crouching Dagger, Hidden Dragon, Gladiator, Wonder Boys, and then lost to Traffic. I don't think it needed to win for Best Editing. I think Traffic is great. I think Gladiator is another one that could have taken home that award. It's a really good year for movies. Shall we get into the plot? So it opens up and we meet William Miller. He is sort of a preteen boy and he lives with his very strict mother, Elaine, and his sister, Anita. And it pretty much opens up on Anita and Elaine arguing. Anita's kind of this more free, wild spirit, and she wants to go off and have adventures. She's a very typical 18-year-old girl, just big 18-year-old girl vibes. Her mother hates her music, so again, like par for the course on that. And she leaves to become a stewardess. We also learn that William's mother has been lying about his age. He's not 13, 11. And so as Anita leaves, she leaves William her collection of records. And this sparks William's love of music. And I think this is such a moment, like if you're a younger sibling, that it just is like crazy. At one point, one of your older siblings will like gift you music, gift you their music taste. And for me, it's my sister I've got 3 sisters, and the sister just oldest from me, like she's 100% to blame for the music that I like now, like 100%. She went through like a little emo phase. She was like 15 and I was like 8, and she downloaded that onto me because I wanted to be exactly like her. And she's moved on with her life now and, opened her horizons. I haven't. I'm still stuck there. And, I came there a little bit on my own. Like I found Green Day by myself, but like My Chemical Romance, Blink-182, like Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy, like I like all that shit because she was like, this is music. And so that moment, there's like a little close up where she like grabs on his shoulder. She's like, one day you'll be cool. And she gives him the records. And it's like, I felt that in my soul that moment. I was like, oh yes, I've also been there. So then we jump forward a couple of years. William's now 15 and he likes to write for his school newspaper about rock music. And he's been sending articles into this rock critic called Lester Bangs, who's played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, who just a masterclass in acting, guys. Like he's just so good. He's one of the best to ever do it. And so he kind of runs into him while he's doing this interview at a radio station, and he sort of encourages him to pursue his dreams and says, okay, go to this concert tonight. I'm giving you an assignment. I'll give you I think it's $30. They have this little exchange that I love so much. And Lester says, so you're the one that's been sending me all those articles from your school newspaper. William says, I've been doing stuff for the local underground paper too. Lester says, what, are you like the star of your school? William says, they hate me. And Lester says, you'll meet them all again on their long journey to the middle. And man, if you grew up in a small town, like that's how you fucking feel. You're like, fuck you guys and your long journey to the middle. But here I am in the middle. Anyway, and I love he's just got some amazing lines to this. And part of them is the lines themselves are good. And part of them is the way Philip Seymour Hoffman is able to deliver things, makes everything sound like fucking Shakespeare. And he says, here's a theory for you to disregard completely. Music, true music, not just rock and roll, it chooses you. It lives in your car or alone and listening to your headphones in the vast scenic bridges and angelic choirs that live in your brain. It's a place apart from the vast benign lap of America. Oh, We love him. So he gives them this assignment. He says, go get me 1,000 words on Black Sabbath. So he goes there and he's trying to get backstage and the doorman won't let him in, obviously. And then he meets a bunch of girls headed by Penny Lane, obvious reference to the song, who are groupies is what everybody else called them, but they call themselves Band-Aids. They're not there to sleep with the rock stars. They're there to inspire the music, to be the muses of these fucking rock stars because they love rock music. And like, fuck yeah, girls, like, love it. Like, that's great. Go be a Band-Aid. Go be a Band-Aid. That's fucking fun. Like, I was watching and I was like, that looks like a good time. But yeah. So these meets Penny Lane and the other Band-Aids, and they befriend him, and they are able to sneak him backstage. And they are able to get there because Penny Lane has like an ongoing thing with one of the opening band's guitarists named Russell Hammond, and the band is Stillwater. And so William gets snuck backstage, kind of meets them, sees this world. He's sort of fascinated by everything that's happening. So after this, one of his articles ends up in the hands of Rolling Stone magazine, and they offer him an opportunity to write a feature of Stillwater. They also think he's an adult man and not a 15-year-old boy. So he gets to go on tour with them. And Lester Bangs gives him the advice that you cannot make friends with the rock stars. If you're going to be a true rock journalist, first, you never are going to get paid much, but you will get free records from the record company. Fucking nothing about you is controversial. They're going to buy you drinks. You're going to meet girls. They're going to try to fly you places, offer you drugs. I know it sounds great, but these people are not your friends. You know, these are people who want you to write sanctimonious stories about the genius of rock stars, and they will ruin rock and roll and every single thing we love about it, right? And then it just becomes an industry of cool. So yeah, just removing the punk right out of it. So William takes off with this advice, and Lester says, basically, call me anytime, I'm up late. So William's mother kind of also is reluctantly letting him go and says, you got to be home, don't miss any stuff. William goes, he's following the band on tour, and he's sort of seeing the like cracks that are taking place within the band. So there's two main characters within the band. There's the lead singer named Jeff, and then Russell, the guitar player, who has this ongoing relationship with Penny Lane. So he's got this ongoing girlfriend at home, but then he has this like on the road relationship with Penny Lane. And it's like fairly clear that like Russell kind of like uses her as this like coping mechanism for when he's on the road and dealing with his frustrations of where he's at in the band. And Penny is deeply in love with this man who does not love her back, but kind of uses her to get there and says he does. So that's great for Penny. She's having a great time with that, hanging on by a thread. And Jeff resents Russell because he's the like good-looking member of the band, despite the fact that he's the guitar player. He's the one that has the attention. Very much think how like in Blink 182, there's like the two guys and Travis Barker. And if you're like you're like a fan of the band and you know like Mark Hoppus and Tom DeLonge, you know all the members. But for the casual viewer, they're just like, oh, it's Travis Barker. Like there's usually one member of the band that kind of like sticks out above the others. Billy Joe from Green Day is like another example. He's the lead singer, so that's generally kind of how it goes. But sometimes it's like one of the offshoot guys that, pulls the main focus. Obviously, if it's like younger women that are going to listen to your music, it's probably the hottest guy in the band, which is Russell, the guitar player. So they end up getting in a fight because they have these t-shirts that come in, and in the t-shirts, Russell is kind of in focus and all the other guys are out of focus. And they get in this fight, and then afterwards, Russell's like, come on, William, like, we're going to find something real. And so they go and they party with some like teenagers that they find at their house. And Russell takes a bunch of acid, eventually gets up on the roof and jumps into a pool. And they have to find him the next day and get him back on the tour bus, all of which William is still trying to get to his interview with Russell. And with the band breakdown, he's like not really being heard. So he's just kind of this kid that's like befriended them kind of, but is also supposed to be writing about them and is having like a really hard internal conflict with whether or not he can write about these guys that he thinks are his friends. After this, the band kind of comes together when they start singing Tiny Dancer on the bus, which is, of course, a very fun song to sing. So as they are further down the road, William is pushing off school more and more. We are still seeing the band begin to crumble from underneath. We see Penny and Russell really struggle. It's very clear that William is falling in love with Penny. Penny is in love with Russell, and Russell kind of treats Penny as like a casual option, but it's fine to like use her love to like manipulate her into company on the road, essentially. There's a scene where they're playing poker with another band, and Russell trades her for a case of beer to another band. And obviously, this is beyond hurtful for Penny, and it's something William internalizes. Like, this guy's like a piece of garbage. We then have a scene where Penny isn't with the band because Russell's girlfriend is there. The band is on a plane. It hits some like pretty crazy turbulence, and everybody starts kind of confessing secrets. Russell's girlfriend slept with Jeff. Russell's in love with Penny. One of the band members is gay. Jeff says everybody hates Russell. Like, it's just like this cacophony of moments. And then the plane ends up landing safely, but like everyone is kind of like fucked up after that. There's then sort of a scene where they get to New York. It's kind of the like main scene of the film. Russell like kind of blows off Penny, and this because his girlfriend is there, and he's kind of told by the band manager, like, you know, we don't need you here right now. Penny is obviously super upset and goes back to the hotel room that the Band-Aids are staying at and overdoses on Quaaludes. William rescues her, confesses his love for her, and then helps her get her stomach pumped. After that, William is like so disillusioned with the band, so upset that nobody gives a fuck about Penny. And he writes his article. He's having a really hard time because he really cares about the members of the band, but he ultimately like needs to write the truth. And that's what Lester tells him to do. So once he writes the article, it goes to the fact checking at Rolling Stone, but Stillwater denies everything he said. And then the article is pulled, and William is just like sent back home to be like high school student. Everything he collapses. So during this time, Russell then reaches out to Penny, says he wants to tell her he loves her and come see her. She gives him an address. Turns out it's William's. She sends him to William's house. He talks to William, gives him the interview he was looking for, as well as tells Rolling Stone that everything in that article is true, and they print it. At the same time, Penny departs for Morocco to live her own dream life. And the film ends on one of my favorite quotes in movies. And William asks Russell during their interview, he says, "What do you love about music?" And Russell kind of turns his chair around and looks to William, and he says, "For starters, everything." I love this movie. It's so good. I highly recommend it. Thanks again for tuning in this week. Hopefully next week we'll be back to do Mutiny on the Bounty. That was supposed to be last week's, but guys, I'm trying here. It's been a fucking minute. Anyway, I'll see you all next Sunday.